Hi, everybody. Good evening and good evening again. Welcome to EduTALK. We have been very much off the air for a little while. We're back on, Dr. Barker and myself. We're live again. Welcome to EduTALK. EduTALK is a virtual talk show created out of the need for a global learning community. And we focus on topics in education that directly impact the Caribbean nations and diaspora nationals working across the globe. EduTALK features everyone in the education industry or arena, and with a common goal of moving education forward and our students upward. So we have this burning topic, I think, across our school systems and wherever you are in the world, you might be affected by this regarding the use of devices in school. And in this case, is the phones, because everything is accessible on phones. We have emails, we can check emails. We have what they call video shorts, that they watch these videos nonstop. And the whole idea of swiping up and watching the other one and so on. And it can take hours. A lot of adults are attached to these shorts. And it continues and continues. So Dr. Barker and myself want to talk about these issues and see how best we can support students. Dr. Barker, it has been a while.
It's
We have
been a
gone
long time, but like in any good event, there is like a winter break.
through. Yes. So
So
we have
we're
gone through a
coming
winter.
back from the winter break. So I too want to extend uh, a wholehearted spring welcome to our listeners and all our contributors. This year promises to be an exciting year where we discuss some of the topical issues, and we're open to uh, introduce some ways in which our listeners, our audience can engage and be part of the conversation. Similar to the format from last year, we'll have some interviews, but
Yeah.
certainly we are hoping to have some discussions around some key issues that are affecting classrooms and affecting teachers and certainly affecting the lives of students across the world. So
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yes. And
really
and
look,
as you said, we to engage people more, because a lot of people have things to talk about, but they don't want to share on a wide scale 30 minutes to come and talk. So people can join us and talk. And if you want to, drop a few lines and leave, it's fine. It's totally fine with us. We're good.
yeah.
Um, Dr. Barker, in our time, because we have seen the emergence of cell phones, and we have seen that attraction to it from we were very small and coming up now to actually have to be grappling with the idea of phone problems in school, and being parents as well. We look at how we can moderate or moderate the times in which we give our own children and even our students that amount of screen time.
Yeah.
um the phone itself, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad device. It's not a horrible device in itself. How would you classify it in terms of, and we talk about this, the classification of phone in terms of how we use it. This is a tool, how we use it as in the school environment.
Well, I think one way to think about it is, I mean, it's a good topic.
Yeah.
There's no question that the mobile phone is a powerful, powerful tool. Just imagine that with a mobile phone now, you have you have a camera, you have the standard, the main function, which is to make a call, is there, but now you can do your banking.
Mm-hmm.
You can book an airline. Yeah. You can do pretty much anything you want to do on the mobile phone. You can, if you in the past, you go out with you go shopping or you need to wait on your child. You can sit in the car, you can do the mobile phone, you can be doing a million things. You could have a meeting. So in a sense, as a tool, it's a powerful tool and certainly has the potential to make life much easier. Now, The tool in the hands of an adult, the mobile phone is really powerful. What we are seeing though is that in the hands of children, and depending on their level of maturity, it does have some, like any good thing, has some side effects.
Yeah.
And post-COVID, we're seeing those side effects even amplified in many, many ways. So, for me, when I think about, the mobile phone, the biggest challenge I have is not so much like in my school, I mean, we talked a little bit before,
Yeah.
where students come in the morning, they hand their phones and pick it up in the evening. It doesn't represent an issue throughout the day for me as a school leader.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I can share is that I'd say 90% of the problems that I deal with in terms of students and the social things that happen through middle school happen at 8:30 p.m.
Mm.
on their sofa in their homes. And then they turn up to school. The issues happen that time, or most of the acts happen at those times when they're
Mhm.
home, not at school.
Yeah.
They end up at home at school 8 o'clock in the morning, and that takes up my entire time.
Wow.
That is a challenge. And I don't know if in your school, if you're seeing that happening as well, or from your experiences.
Yeah, well, what happened is, and I'm glad you start off with that, with the device as a tool for us to use, because we really need to use it as a device and not letting it use us.
Yeah.
To It seems like it's craving our energy and attention, and we tend to gravitate towards giving it that attention and wanting more of it. So it's like this type of weird relationship we have with it instead of using it for our own work. But and in environment, education wise, it's the same thing, just like you. We have turn it in by 7:45, 7:50, 7:55, turn it, and then you pick it back up from your locker or in your book bag in your locker around 3:10, between 3:10 and 3:20, and then you leave. You cannot even be on the device in the upper floors of the building. You have to be in the lobby. So
Yeah.
and we don't really have a problem with it. I remember recently we had a problem where some of the students took out their devices while they're leaving and recorded video record somebody messing around. Like they're just playing around
Yeah.
in the hall. And then they post that video in a little group chat, because each grade level has group chat. And we asked them, when we found out from some of them, they were becoming very excited about this video in the group chat, and we asked them to delete it. And it was just that. There wasn't anything external from the school environment about it, nothing at all. It was gone. So it's not, but I know schools have serious problems with cell phones because they don't have that regulation or policy in place to regulate the usage of cell phones, or turning your cell phone at the beginning of the day and pick it up in the afternoon. I don't think there's any policy with that. And I think they might, especially across the Caribbean or so, they might not have the facility to put away that phone and lock it away in a locker or something like that until the end of the day. So they have to carry the phone on the person throughout the day. So they have more opportunity to be on the phone and to send and receive messages or so on. The same emails that you talk about. So those people in the schools, they might have more problems with the cell phone than we who have more facilities that we can lock them away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Some schools have good policies in place around that. And when you say good,
Yeah.
maybe means banning it within the day. But
Yeah.
and the schools that don't have that have a lot more to deal with in terms of students being distracted throughout the
Yeah.
day. But
Yeah.
from my perspective in a middle school setting, while that is in place and should reduce the chances I have, the behavioral issues I have, what I'm finding is that the majority of my daily interactions are dealing with not so much phones in school, but
Mhm.
phones in home.
Yeah, home, yes.
Wanna kind of shift the conversation a little
Yeah.
bit up. How maybe the new expectation of what a parent does with their child, how it needs to be shaped.
Yeah.
Ultimately, our parents aren't, we're not children in a cell phone generation,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have
Yeah.
no knowledge of what that looks like. They are like us coming through life, and then they have kids, but their life did not have internet as prolific in the way that it is, as ubiquitous as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue you have is maybe a parent trying to parent in a world that they have no lived experience. So this is a reality. This is not new. I can go as far back as 2014 when I was handling a very complex case with a number of kids in a chat room, pretty much attacking, cyberbullying is maybe the word,
Yeah.
another child. And there are two things that struck me. One of them that struck me was the level of inappropriate language that was used.
Yes.
Because in my school at the time, I've never heard a child use inappropriate language. Never, like never heard it. Not even in earshot, like I'm passing and going, what was that? Just never. So for kids to be using that level of language online was really surprising to me, appalling language. And you're like, really? How I would, and then the second thing that struck me was when it happened. And it happened, as I said, about 8:30 p.m. when kids were sitting on the sofa. And I do remember distinctly a parent looking at a child and said, but you were sitting right beside me when you were typing these things. A
Mm.
parent is shocked because your child is home,
Yeah.
they're not on the road. So you're thinking your child is safe, not doing anything wrong. They're home with you. And they have the device.
I think we just lost Dr. Barker for a little bit. But the device, it's a serious issue that we're having, especially in the home. And until we get Dr. Barker, let's see if we can get him back on as soon as possible. Oh, Dr. Barker, we just lost connection.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It just freaked out a while ago, and then we're back up. Yeah, so you were saying that they're sitting next to the parent on the sofa or the couch, and these things are happening right there. We can pick up from there. I think our internet is chipping out here.
I don't know who's freezing or me. Was it you or me? Because I have no issues with internet here.
Oh, I don't think maybe it's mine then, because it keeps on, I don't know, cutting off and saying that it's connecting. So I have no idea.
Yeah,
And
mine, I haven't left the screen. I just noticed that you're not here. So
oh, and mine is saying that you're not here either. So it's
okay.
happening with our Zoom connection. Yeah,
Maybe
you
when
were
we,
saying,
maybe when we go stream yard, it will be fine.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
were saying on the with the fact that the students are sitting in the evenings, late evening, they're sitting next to the parent, and these expletives are coming out of them in group chats.
Yeah. And the parents are shocked. Everyone's shocked, right?
Right.
Because on one of the biggest things that I've kind of my insight into this
Yeah.
is in online spaces, it's all children. There are no adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The entire space is a group room
Yes.
chat, but the group chat has no adult supervision because normally adults aren't there. Now, in real life, adults are somewhere. Even if you have to maybe keep your voice down or you have to go somewhere out But in a group chat, there's no regulation of, let's say, what is right or of morality in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have all children and all, while there might be a hierarchy, the hierarchy normally stems rather than upwards but downwards. The person who has the lowest morals tend to set the tone for the group.
That's true.
If your child is in a chat group that has nice kids and nothing is fine and everything's fine, it goes for that. But if someone comes in and starts swearing, for the most part, it doesn't end the group per se. It just means that people start thinking, maybe that's the way we communicate here. So you have children setting the tone for the conversation. And that's a risk factor.
Yeah, you're right. You're very right. We have had that talk with students quite a bit about the fact that they're unsupervised online. Some parents don't really want their kids to be a part of these group chats. They create them, whether we, as you said, whether we know about them or not, the kids are creating these group chats online. And they're putting in videos in there to an audio chat. So if one of the students don't say to us, hey, so and so is using curse words, we would never know. And you're right. You're also right about the fact that the person with the lowest moral always create the standard of existence on there and what is the expectation to be on there. Um, let's talk a little bit more, as you said, about the fact that some of these things are happening at home with under certain physical regulations of parents, but virtually there's no regulation, and they're right there in the home doing whatever they want to do and keeping a straight face while they're doing it under the supervision of their parents, and they don't know. Some, as you said, parents are shocked sometimes. We have had that conversation too. And even with my daughter, I would talk to her about the online platform where she plays games, and she said, oh, I'm hanging out with four of my friends. And I said, I don't hear anything going on. I see you in the room, you're sitting on the couch or lying down, and I see you playing the game, and you said that you guys are hanging out. And she showed me the avatars moving around on the screen. And she said, this is so and so, this is so and so. And we're actually playing together. Where in the past, Miguel, we would just go outside and play. We wouldn't be, if we're playing with somebody, even online, even when you're online, we are playing and talking with people, but they are hanging out, they're playing, but you
Yep.
don't hear anything. It's their avatars that they're messing around with on there, moving around, and nobody's saying anything.
A
They're
different,
actually typing their responses.
and they'll do that if adult is present.
Right. Yeah.
They can choose the mode that they communicate in. If adults are present, they'll type.
Yes.
If adults aren't, they are a lot more animated, a
Yes.
lot,
Yes.
I'd say even boisterous in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how they behave. But
Yeah.
the point that is there is that they're far more knowledgeable about how to navigate this new world than their parents are. So the parent lives in a world that says, my child's at home, my child's on the sofa,
Mhm.
child is safe, and my child isn't doing anything wrong. So there's no need to have any suspicion, right? Because
Right.
all is fine. Child is home, child isn't out. And so when we come across these situations, it tells you a lot about how the distance between what the parents knows and
Yeah.
even anticipates compared to what the real world is. So
Yeah.
one of the things that, I've been, and the mental health part in terms of just the negative influences of being on the screen for long periods of time is unquestioned, supported in research. We're finding so many things coming out now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, just today I bought a book
Yeah.
by a guy called Jonathan Haidt, and he talks about the anxiety, the anxiety revolution that's there, and how play-based environments, like what you just talked about, being outside to play,
Yeah.
is really affecting students' mental illness.
Yeah.
And that's coming from COVID, and now kids feeling comfortable to sit home and say they're going to play with their friends, but they're playing online and not, and the friends could even live next door, but they'll
Yeah.
even play online.
Right.
So we do need to, the big challenge is that gap that parents have in terms of parenting in this time. And so one of the things that I have started is getting parents more involved and more aware of that gap, because many don't know that there's a gap, right? They tell their kids the right things. So that's one of the things that, I'd love a conversation to generate about what people are doing in terms of engaging their parent community, not just through what's going on in school, but engaging their parent community almost where the school functions like a coach for their
Mhm.
parent.
Yeah.
Say, there are things that you need to know in order to parent
Yeah.
well enough. And so last year we brought in a cognitive behavior therapist who spoke to the parents about how they should, a simple thing that she said, which is still powerful. And I think any parent should do this. And I am thinking of talking about this coming into my next new set of parents coming in for my grade 5 classes, my 10-year-olds,
Yeah.
10 to 11-year-olds.
That's very
Is
good.
idea that, and this is what she said. She said, as a parent of a middle schooler, you should never buy them a mobile phone. Now, I'll caveat that.
Yeah.
Obviously, mobile phone keeps your child safe enough, right?
Yeah.
They can call you, you can call them.
Mm-hmm.
They also needed to remain connected to their friends, because if they don't have a mobile phone, they're not going to have any friends,
Right.
because no one's going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And obviously, they live far away, so they won't see their friends. They don't live like that. But what she meant was not so much that they shouldn't have access to a mobile phone, they just shouldn't own one.
Own one. Oh.
And so what she had recommended to our parents, which was too late because most of our parents had already crossed the line on that,
Yeah.
is that when the time comes that as a family you think a child should have a mobile phone, rather than buying them a phone and say, you now have a phone, what you should do is buy a phone, but say that it is the family phone.
Yes. Yeah.
So you give them the family phone to use as and when, but they are using the family phone.
Family. Yeah.
By virtue of them having access, they'll accept the terms because simply they want to have a phone. They're a
Yeah.
child and they're
Yeah.
young enough to go, oh yeah, I now have a phone. The terms though is a family phone, meaning there's a place that it is kept.
Mm-hmm.
There's a requirement that when you're ready to use it, you need to ask. And you can have the family phone because you're going over to a friend and you need to be contacted. Or you take the family phone to school
Mm-hmm.
and give it back when you come in because you don't need it when you're home, right? Or
Right.
you need permission to keep it when you're home, but it
Mm.
is a what that does is shift the dynamic of, so she would say, don't buy your child phone as a gift. So a lot of people do this as
Yeah.
normal, right? But when you give a child a phone as a gift or even buy them a phone, imagine the conflict that the child goes through when you say, I'm taking your phone away. The child
Yeah.
is like, but it's my phone. That's like you buying them a pair of shoes and say, you're going to take the shoes away. What's the point of
Yeah.
that? That doesn't make sense. That wasn't mine in the first place. So imagine that conflict, right?
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing, right?
It is. It is. It's very powerful. I like it. I crossed that line long time ago though.
Yeah, a lot of
Um,
parents they did. Even
yeah.
I did.
Yeah. What we're doing now is regulating the phone usage with my daughter, and it's working pretty well. She's very responsible. I have to commend her with it. She really keeping up with her schoolwork and the responsibility. You see, what she's more into is board games and
Yeah, which
sports.
is good. Which is good.
Yeah, and she's showing me. She's the one who actually showed me when we're walking around in Manhattan, saying, "Daddy, look at those people on the phone. They look like zombies,"
But they
and
are looking at examples, yeah.
yeah, and I said, honestly, we shouldn't be like this, but it is the way it is right now with people. And she said, "You'll never catch me doing that, behaving like that with the phone it's like the phone has a leash around the people's neck that they're constantly holding."
Yeah. The other thing about the family phone is
Yeah,
if it's a family phone, I can check it anytime.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
When it's your child's phone, of course you can,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a different conversation. It's
Yeah,
her phone. you have to navigate the delicate line between protecting them, but also not violating what they will consider to be their privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you end up in a kind of delicate balance. But if you had a family phone, that's not even a discussion.
No.
They know, and it might prevent, sorry,
Yeah.
them using the phone inappropriately because they know that it's not theirs.
Yeah. So
And
nothing
at
personal.
any point, you
Yeah.
can, like their school bag, you can search your school bag anytime. There's no debate. That can I just check your bags? You can. It's not
Yeah.
a not and if your mobile phones, if your child's mobile phone and you doesn't have the same relationship, then that's where you run into. So these
Yeah.
are a lovely conversation around stuff like those. And
Yeah.
phones in home, we have to know that's what I mean, is that we do need to redress that balance that has happened post-COVID. And
Yeah.
I certainly will be talking to my parents about
Mm-hmm.
like in 10-year-olds as they start to get these devices, whether people will experiment and try to go for here's a family phone. The back of the phone might say Barker family,
Yeah.
and you can use it.
Yeah. I like the idea too with engaging the parents. Because as you said, a lot of them don't know what they're getting themselves into once they start having these digital native kids. They don't know. And a lot of many students know more about devices than parents, way more. Um, but to engage the parents in educational discourse and even parenting, it can help them to save their kids, help them to help their students navigating the harsh reality of addiction and paying attention
Mental illness and
and
mental
mental
illness.
illness. Yeah, we see it.
Also, staying out of trouble.
Yeah, we see it happening a lot. One of the things when you're talking, it reminds me of there's a setting that you can actually sign up the phone through when you're doing your setting up the phone through it, and it's Google I think own it. It's called Parent Link. And every app that they download on this phone, you get an email about the app, and you can actually set the permissions that you give the permission to download app, to send messages, to receive messages, to send media files such as videos and pictures, or don't send any. So some of these, and I think it expires around when the child is 13 or 14, that
Okay?
they can do it themselves. But I think very, very importantly, that parents should set those
So I
boundaries.
think the point
Yeah,
here is, should schools be having meetings at the start of the year then with
that's
parents
what
and say,
I'm
"Here's
thinking.
some
Yeah,
apps. Here are some apps that you should be using. Here's how that we can help you to set them up."
yeah. You know what? And another thing too, Miguel, is to look on if you're having phones in the school, how can you set up some what do you call it, restrictions around the connectivity of the phone once they're in the building? You
But the
can
thing is, because we
block.
don't have it, it's not a, you know, it's not an issue. It's not an issue. But I
Yeah,
like in the upper school,
yeah,
I think that there is a potential, but you have to remember that not every kid uses a school network.
yeah, that's true.
You know, they don't
There's
have to.
that, yeah. We
They
really
don't
have,
have to.
because
I
I'm
mean,
I'm
my
thinking.
girl have two phones. I put one in and still have another one. So
Yeah, I'm thinking too, as you mentioned network, you give them the devices and they use the school devices, and you block certain websites, you block a lot of things on those
yeah.
things. Yeah, but their personal devices, you can, there's no,
Not a good offer. It's still gonna be at some point they're managing that.
yeah,
Still gonna be parents putting in guardrails.
yeah, yeah. It's
But yeah,
important.
it's an interesting topic and
Yeah,
one that I'd maybe love to hear what people think.
yeah, yeah. So we
So
love,
yeah, disagree with the thoughts that we're sharing on this. I think that would be great to know.
yeah,
And yeah, I think that's a great topic. There's a lot there, you
mhm,
know, the anxieties that kids have as they wait for a text or be left out of groups and stuff like that.
yeah.
there's a lot. So it's a whole new kind of space that we need to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah, very much so. And yeah, so we'll ask you to drop your comments in the chat to find out how do you feel about this phone usage? You know, what's your expectations around phone? If you're a parent or an educator, how do you feel about this? What do you think about the discussion? If it's a suitable one for schools, for school leaders right across the globe to consider as we become more attached to these devices. And the other side of it too that we didn't even focus on so much, because we want to focus on parents and so on, is how phones can be used to enhance um, academic experience in schools.
We
To
can go to that next episode.
yeah, next one, yeah. Dr. Barker, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. You know this already, always. And we didn't even wish everybody a happy Child's Month. Today, this month, May is Child's Month. Wish you all the best. And as a matter of fact, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week in our school system. So I don't know when it is in your school, Dr. Barker, if it's Teacher Appreciation Week. We just
We've
wrapping.
had that. We've had it a few weeks back, but there's normally an official one as well.
Okay, yeah, yeah. There's a one that I usually follow the calendar in the Caribbean to see when they're because they roll out a nice spread for the month, you
There's something happens in my school. It was in April.
know.
The
Okay,
appreciation, yeah.
yeah. All
They,
right.
they, they put it on and stuff.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Take it easy. Be safe out there. Remember, make good choices, and especially choices around food and your health, educational choices. Remember, everything will come back to either inform you or give you some really, really bad warning. You know, so take care of yourself. Dr. Barker, we'll see you next week with another edition. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye, everyone.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.